Hex, if you've never played it before, is a fully digital TCG. It is similar to Magic, but uses the digital design space to kind of reduce variance in the game. And one of the great ways to do that is like this hand, for instance. You know, you keep a 2-resource hand on Magic on the play, and you just feel bad when you miss your 3rd resource drop. This Sapphire Ice here is going to allow me to seek fortune. It has a mechanic called Fate Weave, which lets me set up my next draw. Either guaranteed draw a resource next turn, or guaranteed draw a non-resource. So kind of smooths things out a little bit there. It's kind of like a super scry. Gets you guaranteed what you're looking for. Another thing that's interesting in Hex is that you'll see on both sides of the table here, my opponent and I have a different portrait and different starting life totals. Hex has what are called champions. Champions allow you to kind of identify what strategy your opponent might be playing before the game starts. They also give us something to do when we kind of flood out or draw too many resources. So on this first champion here, my champion that I'm playing, for 3 charges I can draw a card and discard a card, which not only gives us a little bit of card selection and filtering, but we're actually playing a Reanimator deck here, so it allows me to discard my 7/8 fatty here and then eventually reanimate it from the bin. A Primal Prism, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start on an Arcane Focus here, look at my top 2 cards, and then put 1 into my hand. I don't think I really need a Withering Gaze here. I'm going to go ahead and grab the Sapphire Ice for now. And now that I have my 4th resource, I don't really need a 5th, so I'm going to go ahead and set up a non-resource for next turn. My opponent's champion on their side of the table, it kind of is fixing for them. For 4 charges, they gain a threshold of their choice, which is kind of a color of their choice. Exarch of the Egg. That card's annoying. It's a 1/3 with lethal that puts 2 spiders into my deck. And when I draw a spider egg, they get a 1/1 spider. Yeah, another kind of like very simple mechanic, but like something that's just like really not possible in a paper TCG. This is one of my reanimate spells, but it's not particularly great against Exarch of the Egg. It takes a troop from my discard pile and then makes it battle an opposing troop when it comes back into play, so it would die to the lethal. This is a deck that I should have played in the CCS, yes. Peace, Warlord. Need to Illuminate, Escalate, Syzygy, Diamond Sapphire. It's viable for lighting? Probably. It's doing objectively powerful things. I haven't played that configuration, but I like the Violet's Caress version a lot. Not quite sure what I want to do here. We could Theorize or we could Arcane Focus. Theorize lets us draw 2 cards and then discard a card. Yeah, I think I'm going to Theorize to start. I wouldn't mind discarding this Gargalith, since that's something we want in our bin anyways to reanimate. Hit a couple more resources. I'm going to go ahead and just Sapphire Ice here and put another non-resource on top of my deck. Our champion power is when we don't just want to hammer willy-nilly. We often want to save it for when we're looking for a specific thing or want to, or have a fatty that we want to discard. Permafrost kind of highlights the resource system in Hex nicely. So this is a resource that doesn't give us a threshold, but it strips all thresholds from a card in our hand. So right now I've only played Sapphire thresholds, so I don't have Blood or Wild that I need for Rotten Rancor, but Permafrost I can play out and strip the Blood and Wild requirements from this card. There's a Vampire Prince, sure. Get down, Declan. Alright, I think I'm just going to focus here. I don't know that that's necessarily... Gargalith is necessarily the fatty I want to put into play. Eternal Seeker's pretty good. When this one comes into play, it voids a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my champion power so we can loot away this Eternal Seeker. Perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and set up and put a resource on top of... non-resource on top of my deck here, because this mills me when it hits me. So I don't want them to get a resource from it. Like every modern digital TCG, Hex is completely free to play if you want it to be. So you can just create an account, install the game on Steam or from their website, and then has a completely free to play option. The tier 1 constructed decks, Hex has a buy, sell, trade secondary market. So if you, for instance, wanted what's the word I'm looking for? If you wanted to buy a deck outright as opposed to grinding for it, you can do that as well. Do I want to Transmogrifade that? I think I do. I'm going to go ahead and Transmogrifade that. So this turns their troop into a random troop that costs 2. Or a random card in this case. I'm going to go ahead and play this Permafrost. And make my Rotten Rancor Shardless so I can play it. And we're going to go ahead and bring back this Eternal Seeker on their Vampire Prince. And then when Eternal Seeker comes into play, it's a 5/5 with flying. That when it comes into play, I choose a number, and we void all other cards with that that cost. So it's going to fight this Vampire Prince, and then I'm going to choose the number 2. Full Metal Adept, thanks for introducing me to Hex. Having a lot of fun with the Escalate deck. Well, thanks for trying it out, and thanks for the donation. I really appreciate that. And then we picked the number 2 with this, and I voided my opponent's 2/2 cost things. So to go ahead and pass the turn back here. They likely have a piece of removal for this, but if they don't, we've got a 5/5 flyer, and we wiped out their things. Ooh, that's bad for us. So this card says if they have 5 blood thresholds and they kill one of our things, they get it back into play under their control. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they don't have a strangle here. So, this is kind of a cute line that we get to do with this deck. I'm going to go ahead and Runebind my own Eternal Seeker. So what this does is this turns my Eternal Seeker into a Mysterious Rune. And when a Mysterious Rune says as soon as a resource enters our hand from anywhere, this gets replayed for free. So we're going to Arcane Focus, and if we hit a resource here, which we did not, we would get to recast this. Yep, yeah, there's a challenge mode. I'm going to go ahead and gain a charge here so I can get my champion power. So if I draw a resource, we can... And we drew a resource, so I'm going to discard this resource, but a resource entered my hand, so I get to recast this Eternal Seeker now. And this Eternal Seeker will come into play again, and I get to void their Bride of the Damned. So, little tricks you can do with cards like Runebind. Kind of protect our own cards from their stuff. Vampire Queen, sure. So, I'm going to go ahead and next turn I'm going to Mordrom's Gift, which is a Reanimate spell, 4 cost. It puts a troop from my crypt back into play. And I'm going to go ahead and use this gift on my Gargalith, which is a 7/8 that gives itself and all my other troops Spell Shield, which is like hexproof if you're coming from Magic. So, my opponent will not be able to target my 5/5 anymore. So, I just have like this 5/5 brick wall. We just sit tight here. Next turn, we can play this Alchemite out, which is a 3/6 that whenever it attacks, we draw a card. Opponent just packs it into the Gargalith. The blood matchup with this deck is usually pretty reasonable. So, yep. I have a list of budget hex decks here. Their prices and different things down there. Gargalith is pretty good in this matchup. Alchemite's pretty reasonable. I think Into the Unknown's pretty good. This card takes a card and puts all copies of it back into my opponent's hand, so that means you get rid of all their Bride of the Damned or all their Vampire Princesses. I think Withering Gaze is pretty bad in these blood matchups, so I'm going to go ahead and board those out. It's okay for taking removal out of their hand sometimes, but not great otherwise. Psychic Ascension's okay. I think we were putting in Ascension over the Aegilus in this matchup, which I guess that makes sense. The Aegilus just, dies to Hero Fall. Psychic Ascension's a nice alternate win condition, so let's give this a try here. Okay, well, we've got a fatty, we've got a reanimate spell, we need a blood threshold here, but we got our champion power for a discard outlet, and we've got, Withering Gaze, so they get to pick between Mordrom's Gift and Psychic Ascension here. They took our gift and left the Psychic Ascension for now. Alchemite's a pretty good hit. I think I'm going to stack a resource on top with this, because we do need blood at some point here. Prince is kind of annoying. There's our blood threshold. I'm going to sit on that for a second here because my opponent doesn't know we have that in hand, so I'm just going to wait on that. Opponent has, like, Bride of the Damned here on 3. We might be in a little bit of trouble. We don't have an answer to that currently. So you can see they drew the card off the top of my deck there. And when this hits me, it not only does it flip over the top card of my deck, but if it's a resource, they get to draw that card. It's unfortunate. Peace, Dan. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or other stuff. I always love talking Hex. Permafrost isn't bad. So now that they saw this, we can go ahead and grab our blood with it. And then Alchemite has an ability called Frost Form, where normally this is a 3/6 for 5, but Frost Form lets us play it as a 3/1 for 3. And then this has the ability where we can discard a card from our hand to revert it, which turns it back into its original form, and then puts it back in our hand. And every time this card attacks, we get to draw a card. Alright, flipped over Runebind there. Yeah, I definitely think there's probably a good control shell somewhere for this. I think because I have this other Alchemite in hand, I'm actually just going to let this trade with the Exarch of the Egg here. I'll Frost Form out the next one here. And again, I'm not hitting my champion power quite yet because I want to save my champion power for a turn when I'm looking for something specific. It's tough being 2. You know that? It's really all of the hardest things in life happen when you're 2. So they just paid 4 life to put 4 spiderling eggs in my deck. So there's 8 spider eggs in my deck right now. Smart to do that before they mill me. God, they found another resource off my deck. I think I'm going to Theorize pre-combat here. So that way if I find removal for this, I can attack in profitably. That's pretty good. So let's bin this Seeker. I'm going to go ahead and play this Permafrost out and Permafrost my Gargalith. Unfortunately, we are 1 resource short of being able to play this turn. Runebind is perfect. That means if my opponent draws a discard spell, I can Runebind it and kind of stall them for a turn. I'm not going to attack this in right now because I would like to just be able to attack through with it next turn. Basically, whatever spell my opponent plays out here, I can counter it with Runebind and turn it into a Mysterious Rune. Like that. Let's turn that into a Mysterious Rune. And then if they don't have Withering Gaze here, I get to Mordrom's Gift and then counter all of their 2s. Or get rid of all of their 2s, which is actually their entire board right now. Oh, I need them to not hit a resource with this Vampire Prince. If they hit a resource, they're going to get to recast their thing. Sweet. All right, and they got a spider, which is also another 2 for us. So now let's go ahead and, yep, have another spider. So now we gift back the Eternal Seeker, which is going to choose 2 for a number. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2s. So void their entire board, and then start attacking with this and drawing cards. Opponent packs it in. All right, sweet. The blood matchup's real good for this deck. Eternal Seeker is real good. I'm going to run upstairs and get Declan a snack really quick. I'll be right back. Sorry about the brief delay there. I had to change a diaper. Urnage just doesn't have a big enough impact to turn you put him out. And, like, you only have so many room for fatties in the deck. So this hand, again, I get to guarantee my third resource with that. And then Heart's Whisper here is a Fate Weave and then draw 2. And this hand has a Reanimate spell and a fatty in it, but we don't have a discard outlet, but our champion is a discard outlet, which is fantastic. Our opponent's champion is Bishop Eliza. For 4 charges, they take a troop that costs 2 or less and put it from their discard pile back in their hand. Shard of Cunning, perfect. Get our blood threshold here. And then our Heart's Whisper is going to guarantee that we hit our 4th resource on time. So if we hit a non-slow shard with this, we're going to be able to Gargalith on turn 4, which is pretty good. Just like, here's my 7/8 with Spell Shield. Opponent's got a pretty slow start out of the gate here, which is good for us. Mind Call, huh? Wonder what they're doing. Opponent's got a bit of a brew. That's one of the things I love about Hex. Like, you know, we tried the green-red ramp deck on Magic Online, and it cost me $12 to try that deck on Magic Online. And we lost the last one and didn't get anything back. Just out $12. Here, you can actually get rewarded for brewing stuff and not have it cost you an arm and a leg, which is enjoyable to me. And again, I'm just going to wait on my champion power. No reason to pound it right now. I might find, you know, a better troop to discard if I wait an extra draw step. Kind of unlikely. Gargalith's pretty good, but we'll see. Opponent's playing a 3-shard deck, it looks like. 3-shard Ardent Crusader. This has Deathcry, Summon a Blight Blossom. Okay. Eternal Seeker's decent. Let's go ahead and hit my champion power here. I think I just want to put Gargalith out. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and put Gargalith out. I think just like having a 7/8 wall is ideal here. Grab a second blood. Go ahead and Mordrom's gift this out. Eternal Seeker is also reasonable. Ain't kinda. Like, the risk to reward is like $12. That's a lot of money, right? Like, it's a very real amount of money. Whenever you play an action, troops in all zones get +1/+1. Like, $12, I can go out to eat for that much money. Like, that's a dinner somewhere. So all of their troops everywhere are +1/+1 now. That's really kind of terrifying. I'm going to transmog that, which turns it into a random 3-drop. That's fine. Oh, that one has to attack even, too. So we're not attacking with our 7/8. We basically want this Gargalith to just, like, hold down the fort for us until we can run off some resources and play this other Eternal Seeker or get something else into play. It's not strictly worse. TCG players like to use terms like strictly worse a little bit too loosely. It's different. You have to sequence a little bit better to get value out of it. Block here, take 6. Yep. Actually, that's an archetype we should work on a little bit. I liked the Bishop deck a lot, the Weenie deck a lot last season. Sweet. So this is my 5th resource, and I'm going to go ahead and put a random resource on top of my deck here. So that's going to give me access to my champion power again next turn, because it's going to be another charge for me, and it's going to get me 1 resource closer to just hard casting this Eternal Seeker. One of the reasons why this Reanimate deck felt so powerful in testing for us was that it's very reasonable to just get to 7 resources and just like windmill slam your Eternal Seeker. Need more peanut butter? This jar's almost gone. We're going to need to get a new one. It's okay. There's another jar upstairs. You get some Valors. That's fine. If we hit Permafrost, we could actually Eternal Seeker this turn, which would be awesome. Alright, so let's do this. Make our Rotten Rancor castable. And then, do this. Oh, this is actually a hard lock, I think. So we're going to discard this Aegilus. And then our Aegilus is going to come into play and fight this one. And what Aegilus says is, all of my other cards and me are indestructible. And he's Spell Shield. So unless my opponent has something to, like, void all of my stuff, I am invincible, and all of my cards are invincible, and he's Spell Shield. So they have to have something that lets them, like, a Diamond's Favor or something here to let them interact with this Aegilus, or I have to, like, make a bad block with it. But, like, why would I block with it if I'm invincible? And this is invincible now, too. You can see the little crown there. It means invincible. It adds the line invincible on there. It means it can't take damage or be destroyed. This is a hard lock against a lot of these troop decks. They could have Clash of Steel. I'd be pretty surprised. I'd be pretty surprised if they'd Clash in their main deck, though. I'll use specs. Sure. I'm going to transmog this into a random 3, because their troops could get large if they could just block my Gargalith indefinitely, so I don't want that to happen. Heart's Whisper. I actually want to hit a resource with this, so that way I can just cast the Eternal Seeker next turn. Perfect. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm put a non-resource on top of my deck at this point. I'm going to go ahead and Frost. Do I want to Frost form this Alchemite? Yeah, I think I do. I think it's pretty unlikely that they have anything like Clash of Steel in their deck. Or Dread End. I'm sure they're about to show me and, like, Dread End me, but like it's pretty unlikely. I guess the merit to not playing this is I probably want to play this for 3 next turn. See what they have going on here. It's been a good showing of the Reanimator deck doing strong things. I really should have played this in the CCS. Yeah, exactly, Ace. Like, if I'm planning to just play this for 7 next turn, I might as well just play this now. Want more Peeper? Sure. We actually have a second Reanimator deck that if we, depending on what the time looks like today, we might play with that a little bit. Let's attack with these. Let's get us to draw a card. I was always wishing back Dread Driver, sure. Yeah, we're going to bounce Alchemite before we Seeker for sure. And this is invincible, so I don't have to do it just yet. Just like send a message, this is invincible. Let's go ahead and discard this, return this to my hand. Play out my Eternal Seeker. We're going to pick the number 3 for this, which is actually going to get God. Eternal Seeker is such a messed up card. 3. Alright. Hope you didn't like, hope you weren't too terribly attached to that board you had over there. Yep, everything for my channel goes up on YouTube, Badman Mert. Or Bad Mert. It all gets archived there. That's kind of scary, like I said. I guess we have a flyer at least now. Ideally, we'd like a transmog for this, though. Withering Gaze, what do you got? That's fine. Aspect of the Squirrel. Yeah, let's take that one away. I actually want this. I think I'm looking for a, what's it called? A way to kill this. I don't want to attack with the Aegilus because they'll be able to double block and kill it, so let's just attack with these two. They might jump here so they get flyers. And we're playing the full 4 Eternal Seekers, so like, we have a bunch of those to draw to here too. How they could Ardent Crusader back, sure. Oh, geez, the Valors are gonna make all these things insane, huh? Yep. Well, like I said, all their troops are gonna be real large. Not that we can take damage from them. I can just put random cards in the reserves, they'll be fine. Yeah, there's a lot of sweet things to be had in this standard format. Oh, you know what? I should do the Runebind trick, right? 10 out of 10. Yeah, I probably should have done that last turn, actually. Alright, let's go ahead and attack here. So Spell Shield doesn't mean I can't target it. So we're going to attack them with everything here. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to Runebind our Eternal Seeker. And then, put a resource on top of our deck. So we'll Runebind this. Put a resource on top of our deck. Cast Theorize. Draw a resource which will let us replay this. Another Eternal Seeker. Sign me up. Get rid of the all-use specs. Man, I don't think I ever runebound Eternal Seeker when we were testing, and like we've already just like done it twice today casually. Yeah, this deck's really sweet. Should have played it in the event. Messed up by not doing so. Oh, they were dead here if I shipped with this, right? No, because they could have blocked this and then taken... Yeah. Yeah, I think we ended up getting some bias. We definitely had some bias at our testing. Like I said, I expect this deck to become a format staple, and I'm kind of sad I didn't play it at the first tournament. I don't actually know what we're doing here. Opponent calls it quits. All right. That is your right. Let's queue up another one. Oh, jeez. So these are some of the hands you get when you register for Permafrost. The old Permafrost Well of Cunning can't make a threshold. We could theoretically like Permafrost this, but like this hand should just go to 6. All right, awkward but keepable. How much does deck cost? Aegilus is a little bit of money. I don't actually know the total cost of the deck outright. Let me take a look at what TCG Browser estimates. I'll lead on Primal Prism for Sapphire here. I imagine this deck costs a little bit. Yeah, TCG Browser estimates 140. If you want to budget the deck, 4 Transmogrifades could turn into something else. 4 Transmogrifades are like $10 a piece, so like I would replace those maybe with Evaporates. They're gonna be slightly worse, but still the deck will still be functional without them. Perfect. I think I'm just gonna Withering Gaze here onto rather than play the Sapphire Ice. Another sweet deck. Sabertooth. Let's screenshot this so I don't forget what they have. Stingshot Sniper. They're going to have an Outlaw on 2, which is kind of annoying for us. Sabertooth actually kills our Eternal Seeker as well, which is tough. You're not wrong. It's definitely cheap compared to Magic. Well, you can see the Hex graphical bug here. Do I want to I think I want a non-resource at this point. I can't activate my champion power yet because the Primal Prism didn't give me a thing. I'm going to go ahead and Transmogrifade this, I think. It's an aggressive piece of ice, right? So, Hex, the current Hex client build has a graphical bug where after you Withering Gaze your opponent, their cards appear with the wrong images. If you zoom in on them, they have the right card image, but otherwise it's a little bugged. Opponent can play Stingshot Sniper here now. Pretty good beat that they hit the resource. Yeah, it triggers when Withering Gaze happens. We have another Righteous Outlaw. You can see, it's Sapphire Ice here, but when I zoom in, I can see that it's a Righteous Outlaw. So, like, if you just take the time to zoom, it doesn't actually impact what's going on, but it's still annoying. Alright, if we get a resource, we can Eternal Seeker, but the Eternal Seeker probably not going to be good enough here because they have the Primordial Sabertooth in their hand. This matchup's probably a little bit tough for us if they have a good aggressive curve. Unchecked Outlaw is very, very good. You are not wrong. I guess my head went to the good hits there, Ace. Like, Focus is good, Heart Whisper's good, Theorize was good. There's the Stingshot Sniper. Ice, ice, baby. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Now I'm going to put a non-resource on top again, because I do need to hit interaction for this stuff. Let's go ahead and loot. It's a Heart Whisper. Let's do that. Let's do this. I'm just, like, dead on board, right? They're going to Valor this twice and then kill me. Yeah, a little bit too slow and clunky here. Alright, so, Cheap Shot. What do we got here? So, Cheap Shot and Exarch seem good. I think I want Drax against the aggressive deck, maybe. Alchemite's pretty terrible. Into the Unknown's a little bit slow and clunky. Withering Gaze seems pretty mediocre. Is this an Aegilus matchup? The problem is, like, I don't know what kind of removal they have. If they have a bunch of well, they were Jund colors, right? So I guess they don't have. All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's cut the. They probably have a hard time dealing with 6/6s and Aegiluses. They might have some hard blood removal. Maybe. We'll see. This hand gets savaged by. I mean, we want these things in our bin, right? I'd love to go first. Yep. This hand just needs a reanimate spell. So let's go ahead and we get a lot of looks at it. So we get to Sapphire Ice here for a non-resource, and then next turn we get to Focus plus Sapphire Ice for a non-resource, and then on 3 we get to Heart Whisper for a non-resource. Just looking for a gift or a Rotten Rancor so we get this Aegilus into play. How is Standard? The ramp deck seems reasonable. I made a lot of play mistakes while playing it, but it felt okay. I just didn't feel like spewing anymore on Magic Online Leagues. Hey, look, a Reanimate spell. Alright, well now I'm going to stack a resource on top of my deck since we found what we're looking for already. We just need one more resource so we can do this on 4. They have their most aggressive start here. Just Howie with the brand new $4.99 subscription. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. Subscriptions are the best way you can support my content. Welcome. Thank you for that next level of support. That's decent. I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to Whisper here for... I think we're going to hit a resource again. I would like to just draw blood for this, which is exactly what we did. Sweet, and then I can Permafrost the Sir Draxard later. The Redlings matchup feels close to a coin flip. The Ruby matchup as well. The Diamond Ruby Ardent matchup, it depends on the quality of removal that the aggressive decks have. If they have removal that can kill Aegilus, the matchup gets a lot harder, but like a lot of these Ruby aggressive decks don't have ways to interact with this, so we're very good against them. We're going to take 8 here, down to 9. And if they have, like, Casualty of War here, we're going to be up a creek without a paddle. But if they don't have Casualty of War, or a way to kill this Aegilus, we should just run away with the game. So, discard Aegilus. Mordrom's gift my Aegilus back, so I now have Invincible. Oh, you know what? This plus Sabretooth could kill this. I think I messed up. Yeah, if they kill us here with the Scarlet Swordsman, I should have Transmogrifaded this the turn I Hearts Whispered on 3. It's the little things. I forgot that they could pump the power on this. If they have, like, Aspect of the Squirrel here even, we just die, right? That puts us to 5. This puts it to 9, and then they kill this and kill us in the same trigger. I think that's how that works. So if they have a Sabretooth here, or an Aspect of the Squirrel, we're dead. Or even like a Pyro Strike, just any kind of Ruby removal. Yeah, I should have I Hearts Whispered on 3 and got greedy. I should have Transmogged on 3. Yeah, they're counting. I'm assuming we're dead. Well, the trigger won't hit me, but it's going to kill my Aegilus, and then I'm going to die to the combat damage. So I 10 out of 10 could have transmogged this the turn prior, and then we wouldn't be in this position where we're potentially dead to a non-hard removal spell. Yeah, a lot of cards that could kill us here that wouldn't even be on the table even considerations if I would have just transmogged this like a smart person. I'm hoping they don't have it because they're in the tank here, but like maybe they're just missing it and they're gonna come to it. The Greed Machine drew cards, shocker, right? That should mean we're not dead. This should mean we're fine, actually, so God bless. Next turn we get to draw more cards and then probably Permafrost the Draxard. They can't even really attack here because I should T one of their guys. Alright, and we hit another resource. Perfect. So now I can Hearts Whisper for non-resource. We hit a Rancor, huh? Yeah, I think I want to take this off the table. So I'm going to wait on the ice, I think, or on the Permafrost, and go ahead and play this Blood Ice out and stack a non-resource on top of my deck. And then next turn, we'll loot and then Draxard. We'll loot and then Rancor back Draxard, killing the Scarlet Swordsman. Maybe I should have left double Transmog up this turn in case they have, like, Riposte. That's potentially good too. Sure, any of that. There's a free attack. Is there anything that could potentially punish us there? No, I guess not. Had 6 to our 8. It's fair. Go ahead and loot. Bin this Draxard. And then I guess, yeah, I have this Runebind and this. I'm gonna cut down this one. I should have been attacking last turn, so let's do that. I gain 25 life when this comes into play, and when it leaves, I lose 25. So that should hopefully, and this is invincible. So I should have attacked with this last turn. They should be 8 points lower here. Mistakes were made. And now Runebind should mean we're okay here. A lot of decks that can leverage Hero Fall aren't fantastically positioned, and this deck's actually pretty good against decks that can play Hero Fall on average. There is not a donate card in Hex currently. There's not currently a donate card in Hex. Really? Flaring Passions. That's not quite a donate. Because that goes back and forth every turn. So you'd have to, like, donate it and then kill it right away. Kinda narrow. Kinda narrow. Opponent is mathing. Hopefully this Transmogrifade beats them. Sure. Sure. Have another Quashridge, Tusker. And this is a free block because it's invincible. I don't know why they would make this attack. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. We could Transmog this before they kill it. Yeah, they must have a Lasgar's in their hand, right? I mean, like, I just get to... This is a free block because Drax is invincible. Okay. Packs it in. Yeah, I think we're just gonna click submit here. I think I like how he boarded. Drax was good there. Did a good impersonation of a 5th Aegilus, which is basically what we wanted it to be. Another card that can help us stabilize, basically. Request to call it Quashi. Oh, little Quashi. They even got the Quashi High 5 in. Alright, hard game on the draw. Hopefully we get another quick fatty. Easy mulligan, no thresholds. Hand's got Runebind to interact. It's got 1 fatty, so we're looking for a Reanimator. So this is not the ideal fatty, but, you know, it's definitely keep it 6. Yep. Cheap shot. Transmogrifade's a good draw. I'm going to go ahead and lead on this so we can transmog something this turn if they play Righteous Outlaw. I'm gonna go ahead and transmog this. Just like take it off the table, I think. Yeah, Palaberry Pouch. That's... So, I just messed up. Something we actually talked about in chat was that you're never supposed to transmog a 1-drop in a matchup where Aegilus is the card you want to reanimate. Because this is now able to turn Aegilus into something else. Which kinda sucks. Yeah, Ace Effect, the link that Dino just posted there, sorry I missed your comment, is they post actually every deck that's ever gets played on Hex. Yeah, I can Runebind it, or I guess I could Eternal Seek it too. But like, it's still less than stellar, right? Like, I probably should have just Runebound it to begin with instead of having what happened happen. They give this Rage? No? Yeah, you have any questions, feel free to ask. Take our poke for 1 here. Another Quash, yep. Voice of the Ashwood, that's pretty scary. I'm going to go ahead and Runebind this Quash here at end of turn. So that way I can go ahead and Heart's Whisper and not take a ton of damage next turn. I think I'm going to hit non-resource here because I actually want like more Transmogs and more Runebinds and stuff like that. I want more interaction here. There's Blood. They have a Zanya here. This could be bad for us. Being said, you know, we're like 2 cards away from like oopsing into something okay. Slingshot Sniper is pretty good. When this attacks, deals damage equal to its power to us. We're gonna take 4 here down to 16. Find out what their last card is. Yep, guess not. Exarch of the Egg is a pretty good hit. Let's focus, hopefully find a resource. Another Transmogrifade. Alright, I'm gonna loot with this, looking for a non-slow shard. We had a slow shard. Okay, that could have been worse. Play this out. I think I want to just hold Transmog plus Runebind up this turn. I want a non-resource on top because we could hit Gift. Okay, I'm going to Runebind this and Transmog this. That's kind of terrifying. So this has Rage 4. I think I actually need to just Runebind that one. Huh. So if I Runebind this and Transmog this, and if I hit a if I hit Mordrom's Gift next turn, I actually just get to take 1, 2, 3, 4 things off the table. So I think that's what I want to do here. We basically like need to hit Gift, right? Or we're gonna die. Like this is taking 3. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're going to 4 here. We could actually just die to Alaskar's Vengeance this turn. Basically need to hit Gift or Bust here. Gift! Gift! Aegilus. Alright, yeah, I think we're dead. Yep, the next card down. It's really close. So you just don't, against the aggressive decks, you just don't have time to fumble, so it often comes down to, can you do your thing on turn 4 or turn 5? We're 2-1 so far in the day. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I mean, like, we knew what we needed to hit. Is it guaranteed? Does it sequence them in the right order? Because we drew 2 cards there, so it could have been the next one down. Are 20 resources enough? I know there's a lot of draw in the deck, plus some Fate Weave, so just asking. Yeah, I think 20 resources is plenty. In addition to, you have 4 Arcane Focus, you have 4 Theorize, we have 5 pieces of Ice, so basically Ice is the thing that's taken the most adjusting to in this set. What you have to think about it in Ice is that every piece of Ice counts as 2 resources in your opening hand, is basically what it comes down to. If you have an Ice, it's worth 2 resources in your starter. Alright, that was someone we played earlier and they don't want to play against Reanimator. Yeah, this is a Reanimator deck. This is a deck that my Hex Heroes team worked on a lot for the CCS. It's got pretty reasonable matchups across the board. It's really bad against the Diamond Ardent decks, though, because they're aggressive and can remove Aegilus. Alright. Alright. Found what is likely a Redlings deck. That's good. Someone else asked about this matchup. This matchup's close. We have a lot of quality interaction, but we could also just, like, turn 4, put an idiot out there. This hand's probably good enough. It's got a lot of selection here. It's got Eternal Seeker. There are definitely awkward Permafrost well hands. 10 out of 10. Runebind's a good draw. I'm going to start on Focus, I think, here. See what we find. Alchemite's not stellar this matchup, but Eternal Seeker's very good. Would 10 out of 10 prefer an Aegilus, though, if we can find one. And again, like, the ices just make everything better, basically. I think I'd rather take another Focus here. Gargalith's not going to do a whole lot in this matchup. It's the worst of the Reanimate targets against the aggressive decks, and we board them out. I'm going to get to the Ruby here. See how aggressive their curve is. If they go 2-1 into 4-4 into speed, 4-4, we could be in trouble. No idea. Twitch does all that automatically, Hawk. Ding, ding, ding. Alright, so let's focus here. Looking for resources, basically. So we can get to this gift on curve. Permafrost is perfect. So that means I can Permafrost this. So I'm going to go ahead and play... I'm going to play this out for a Sapphire so that way we can Runebind something this turn. If we'd have been on the play, this hand would be really, really good. Do you want pretzels? Yeah. Where's your bowl? Do you have a bowl down here? Get your bowl. My wife needs to learn how to have a house key. So I have to stop. Alright, so the hope here is that my opponent doesn't draw a resource next turn, so that way we can bring back this Eternal Seeker and hit for 2 and take this and this. If they hit a resource next turn and this comes back into play, we're probably just dead. And if we'd have been on the play this game, we'd have been able to just... So, like, post-board, these would be Aegilus's, and we'd be in a fantastic spot because we'd been an Aegilus and be bringing that back next turn. But here, we're probably going to be behind the 8 ball. I think maybe we're supposed to get blood with that. So I can hit this next turn. Yeah, I'm probably supposed to get blood with that. I know they're just going to draw a resource and kill us anyways. Yep. Feels bad, man. And again, like, when a matchup's close, it often means it's play versus draw dependent, especially when there's an aggressive deck involved. And again, just like a little bit of game 1 awkwardness there because Gargalith is not fantastic in this matchup. So we have to bring in cheap shots and Exarchs and Sir Draxard. We get to cut this into the unknown. Get some Withering Gazes and some Heart's Whispers. Easy in, easy out. That's not necessarily true. Riddling's is tough on the play if you're playing a bunch of slow shards like we are. Like, there's how many slow shards in our deck? We got 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, we're not only are we on the draw, but like we're on the draw and we're putting ourselves behind a turn with our resource base. So like that's why decks like Redlings and Angus are making a resurgence right now. That's why Mono Ruby is good. You want to be good against Mono Ruby? Play less slow shards. I think probably fine. It's got double interaction here. Dude, you have a bowl full of pretzels. Let's lead on this. Yeah, speaking of slow shards, like, again, being on the play, your slow shards hurt a little bit less because... You know, you're just putting yourself at parity, basically, right? Like, you're a turn behind, but you were on the play, so you're a turn ahead. We're playing Permafrost because it makes, the Rotten Rancor splash easier. I probably should have gotten blood with that, right? And that was a mistake. Yeah, I should have gotten blood there so we could cheap shot. And Withering Gaze. The Permafrosts also make your fatties castable at particular points. So you can like just like play Draxard for 6 resources or like play Gargalith for 8. Comes up a lot in the longer games. Hey, never punished. And again, I am not going to just jam my champion power here. I want to wait and see if we can draw into like an Aegilus. We'd prefer to discard that as opposed to Sir Draxard. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Transmogrifade this into a random 2-drop for ourselves here. Probably in response to their champion power. I'm going to do it before they attack, so that way it likely won't have speed. Look at that. Enjoy your Llama Herder. So Permafrost strips all the threshold requirements from a card in our hand. So, like, this Draxard, if I play this Permafrost Exarch, it's going to become shardless, so that way we can play it without having to have Diamond. Primal Prism. I think that's fine, actually. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this for Wild in case we draw a... I'm going to Withering Gaze them here. Might as well use my resources this turn. I'm going to get that for Wild in case we draw a Rotten Rancor. I'm going to go ahead and take your Riposte out of your hand. That's why we leave some Gazes in, because they have Riposte post board. Primal Prism is the other way to cast Rancor, as I just made it. So there are, basically we have 7 ways to cast Rotten Rancor, which is reasonable. Like, it's a 5-drop and we have a lot of selection. And there's only 2 of them. So, like, you cast Rancor with reasonable consistency. They play their 4-1 out, we can cheap shot it. What other Reanimator targets did you guys consider? I don't know if we actually really tested anything else. There aren't a ton of, like, really busted troops in Hex, which, you know, good design. I feel like the 3 that we have are, like, the best of them. Ooh. Oh, my kingdom for an Eternal Seeker. My kingdom for Eternal Seeker into, Eternal Seeker into Rancor, or whatever it's called. Mordrom's Gift. Calamity can't be put into the discard pile. FYI. Again, they're smart. Focus. Can I live through next turn? Maybe. I think I'm supposed to do this. And then just put this on top of my deck. And then, like, hope to just cast Sir Draxard next turn. And again, like, you know, we've seen 12 cards. We haven't drawn one of our 6 reanimate spells. Like, the 1-2 combo deck doesn't work sometimes. Drax isn't really, like... This is, like, kind of a mediocre reanimate target, in all honesty. So we'll Runebind that. We're going to get attacked for... They could sack this here if they want. They're going to have up to 8 come across here. They have a cremate in their hand. So if they have a coin in their hand too, or another cremate, we're dead. Or Lasgar's Vengeance potentially. Otherwise we get to Drax next turn and like gain 25 and like maybe stabilize a little bit. Not guaranteed though. Need more pretzels? Yep. And again, they're doing this because coins or cremates kill me here, so they might as well try and be aggressive. Alright, kill me. This is like a matchup where, like, you know, you have to have it on 4 or they're going to get you. No, not planning to play any more Magic today. The Legacy content isn't terribly popular. And I enjoy Hex more than I enjoy Legacy, so I'd rather play Hex. Alright, plus 25 life for as long as Drax is in play. I can't block a 4-power guy with Drax because we know they have a cremate in their hand. We're probably dead here. I guess we could hit, like, non-slow shard. Nah, I guess we could. We have draws. We hit non-slow shard, and then we could loot into Eternal Seeker. Seems pretty reasonable. That's a Crusader. Yep. For Explorer, there's, I'm blanking on his name, there's a 2/2 for 3 that you can discard a troop from your hand when it comes into play to give it 1/1 and flying. Actually, the other Reanimator deck that Klutz was working on, Android, was playing it. Let me pull up his deck list and I can tell you the name. It's kind of hilarious. Gemsoul Deathblade. It's an uncommon from a couple sets ago. Yep. I can't block anything here, so we're just taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yep, just like Drax was literally just a fog. Yes, that's necrotic. So Dead to Lasgar's Vengeance here. We're just dead here. Touch too slow again. Let's play. Let's play with the other Reanimator deck.